I signed up for something I didn't understand. 3 months ago, I enlisted in a private, off-the-books government mercenary unit, recruited with the promise of big money, secrecy, and a purpose no one else could know about. They told me it was about tracking down a myth, but myths don't leave behind destroyed outposts and missing teams. We were sent to hunt something called the Thunderbird, and we found it. Or maybe it found us. Training was hell. It had been raining non-stop for over a week, a heavy downpour that soaked everything, our gear, our barracks, our spirits. The sky was an endless churn of gray and black, shifting like a living thing, watching us. The others said the weather meant something. When the sky stays angry, the bird is near. They spoke in hushed voices about the Thunderbird, the creature we were tracking. They said it lived in the storms, its wings made of thunderclouds, its eyes flashing with lightning. But I didn't believe in legends. Then I met Willison and Di Shaw, two 50-something hard-asses who ran the unit with a level of cruelty I hadn't seen even in the worst of my deployments. They enjoyed breaking people, pushing us past our limits with exhaustion and beatings, making sure we understood that we didn't own our lives anymore. We were just tools in their hunt. 2 days later, I was in the barracks bathroom, wiping the mud and sweat from my face when Willison stormed in. He slammed a map onto the table. "We should go here. The locals definitely know where the Indians are, the ones who can make this thing reveal itself." Di Shaw shook his head. "That's a 4-hour drive into the middle of nowhere. You expecting us to drag ass across the mountains for some fairy tale?" Willison leaned in. "Fine. We take a chopper. This is our shot at capturing this thing. We need to take it while we can." 20 minutes later, we were airborne. Our destination, a small town on the reservation, home to the few remaining people who still practiced the old ways. But Willison wasn't interested in just talking. We landed in a field just outside the town. Rain pelted against us like needles, the storm growing heavier by the minute. Willison pointed to a small house on the edge of town. Through the window, we saw a young native woman moving inside. "The rest of you stay here," Willison ordered. "Me and Di Shaw will handle this." They went in through the back door. A few minutes later, we heard muffled sounds, the unmistakable noise of a struggle. One of the guys nudged me, whispering, "What the fuck are they doing in there?" Then, through the rain, we saw it. Willison closing the blinds in the bedroom. My stomach twisted. We knew. We all knew. But we did nothing. 30 minutes later, Willison and Di Shaw emerged, looking pleased. "This night isn't over," Willison sneered. "The chief lives a few houses down. Let's go." I gripped my rifle so tightly my knuckles went white. I wanted to pull my sidearm and put a bullet in that bastard's head right there. But I didn't, and I should have. We found the chief and dragged him back to camp. Willison wasn't wasting time anymore. The old man was beaten mercilessly, blood spilling onto the concrete floor. They wanted him to summon the Thunderbird, forcing him to chant, to call the storm. The wind picked up. The rain grew heavier, coming down in sheets. The air itself felt wrong. Willison grabbed him by the collar. "Do the fucking chant." Shaking, the chief raised his hands. He began to whisper in his native tongue. The wind shifted. The storm clouds swirled faster, forming something unnatural, a spiral in the sky, flashing with lightning. Then, the first thunderclap hit, and something crashed into the watchtower. I was inside a storage unit when it happened, monitoring the heat signature scanner. But suddenly, everything was red. The machine picked up a massive shape, descending from above. Too large to be anything man-made, moving too fast for a bird. Through the cracked window, I saw it. A massive, bird-like creature loomed in the downpour, its wings blending into the storm itself, its feathers jagged like lightning bolts. It was neither beast nor god, but something in between. The Thunderbird had come, and it was pissed. A scream tore through the compound. One of the men was lifted into the air, claws impaling his shoulders. Another was ripped in half before he could even fire his weapon. We unleashed everything. Heavy artillery, mounted turrets, rocket launchers. Nothing worked. The bullets passed through it like mist, its crackling form shifting in and out of existence, as if it wasn't bound to the laws of our world. I watched Willison try to run, but the Thunderbird swooped down. Its talons sank deep into his flesh, tearing muscle from bone. He screamed, clawing at Shaw, trying to hold on. "Help me!" Another thunderclap, and just like that, they were gone, vanishing into the clouds. The Thunderbird never landed. It never needed to. It was the storm itself. For 15 minutes, it tore through the base. Then, just as suddenly as it arrived, it disappeared. A week later, the project was shut down. The government erased everything. No reports, no records, no bodies. They told the public that a storm destroyed our base. I know the truth. We weren't hunting the Thunderbird. It was waiting for us, and it let me live to tell the story.